Hey friends, welcome back to Homeschool-ology. If you're a subscriber, thank you for coming back. If you're new here, my name is Nikki. I'm a homeschooling mom of 4. I have a 7th grader, a 3rd grader, and then a 5 and 3-year-old who are doing a combined pre-K level. And usually on this channel I talk about secular homeschooling, but I also like to talk about things like having a larger family and traveling with a larger family, and this is one of those videos. So we are going to be sharing our most recent trip to Disney World. So if you're interested, I hope you will stick around and chat with me, and I will talk to you guys in a minute. For the next several Fridays, I'm going to be doing a Disney Friday, which is going to be sharing our trip to Disney and all the planning that we did, tips for you guys. We did try Genie Plus this time, so I will be talking to you guys about that, and we'll just be chatting all things Disney. So if there's something you'd like for me to chat about, go ahead and head on down to the comments and let me know down there, and I will try to add that to my Disney Friday playlist here. And while you're down there, I would hope that you would subscribe to this channel and ring that notification bell so you can see when these videos are going to be coming out, or you can be alerted when they're coming out. So to kick off this series, I'm going to be talking about just kind of like our planning process and things like that. One more thing I'd like to mention, I planned this trip on my own. I knew what week we wanted to go because it was my niece's birthday, and that was the week that we chose. And I planned this trip on my own. I decided where we were going to do, what we were going to do, all of that stuff. But if it's your first time at Disney, or if you just don't have time for that, I highly suggest using a Disney planner, like vacation planner. It doesn't cost you any more. The price of your trip is going to be the same, and oftentimes they know about deals and discounts that are going to help you save money. So it doesn't cost you any more, but you don't have to do the work, and you're supporting, most of the time these are other moms or small business owners, and you're supporting them as well. So the one that I have used in the past is Shannon Devine, and I'll link her channel down, or her website and Facebook page down below. She's excellent, did a great job, but there are tons of them out there, and it is worth doing if you don't want to, you don't have the time to plan, you don't want to be the one that's sitting there at 6 a.m. waiting to book your reservations and all of that. If you want to outsource that, it is 100% free to outsource that, and I highly suggest doing it. Long ago, but when my oldest was 2, 3, we used to be annual pass holders way back then, and we had that for many years until my middle daughter, my 3rd grader, until she hit about the age of needing an actual ticket. So that was like 5 or 6 years. My mom actually lived really close to Disney World, so we were like a 20-minute drive. So pretty much every time we went to see her, we would take a day and go over to Disney and hit a park. Then my mom moved away from that town back to our hometown, which is a little bit further away, and we just, now we were a family of 4, the tickets had gotten more expensive, and so we just kind of let that go, and we kind of started leaning more towards taking like one longer trip each year, where we would actually stay at a Disney hotel and do, the whole Disney thing, and so that I've had both worlds, the infrequent Florida resident, you live close by, and the week-long hit it hard, do it all kind of trips. The last few years, well, minus the COVID years, we went in 2019, and then we went again in 2022, so we had a big gap there. Disney was closed for a large portion of that, and then there were just lots of rules and restrictions, and it just wasn't something that we were going to do. So 2022 was our first time back, and I believe I did share here on this channel. If I can find the video, I'll link it for you guys. And then this year we decided to go ahead and do the annual passes. There's a Florida resident one. You can only go weekdays, like Monday through Friday, but it was reasonably priced, and as you know, with a family of 6, like that is you know, Disney can be a lot, but it was reasonably priced. It was basically $400 for the year. I don't know that we'll continue it every year. I don't, you know, they change. If you don't know, if you're not in Florida, they change like the Florida special pretty much all the time. So you know, so all of that to be said, that was long and ranty just for me to say we have the annual pass this year. We can go Mondays through Fridays, and that's what we did. But we did do like one big trip where Dad accompanied us. So this is going to be talking about that long week trip where Dad did come with us, and kind of like what it was like. We stayed, we actually couldn't get any rooms on actual Disney property, but if you don't know, there's like actual Disney property hotels like the Coronado and the All-Star resorts, and you know, the Floridian and all those are actually Disney owned, Disney run, on Disney property hotels. But there are other hotels that are like Hilton and other brands of hotels like that are on Disney property, but not exactly Disney hotels. And so we stayed in one of those this time, for the first time actually. We always do the Disney hotels, and this is why I always do the Disney hotels. I get to park my car. I don't have to go to it again the whole entire trip. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to put kids in car seats. If you are a mom with a lot of kids, you understand like putting kids in car seats, having a break from that is really nice. So there's a bus system. It's efficient. It's great. And we don't have to get in the car, and we don't have to buckle kids in the car, and we don't have to deal with kids crying about where they're sitting, and we don't have to deal with, you know, all of that stuff. So that's why I love staying on Disney property, because you have that amenity. You also get early entry into the park, which is 100% worth it. I'm going to talk more about that in another video. And you also, you know, just the atmosphere. It's Disney. It's a Disney hotel. The pools are great. Like, they have activities that they have planned for kids. It's just the atmosphere is also really great. So it is worth it to me to stay on property. The money that you're saving to stay at another hotel, to me, is not worth all the benefits I get of staying on property, because it's really not that much cheaper. And if you're staying in a hotel like a Hilton that's on property, you're still being charged like a fee for being on property, and then you usually have to pay for parking, and all those little fees end up adding up to almost what you would have spent anyways. And you don't, some of them say they have shuttle buses, but I'm going to get into this and maybe later on in the video. Or, well, I'll just talk about it now. So we stayed at the Hilton on property because they had shuttle buses, and then you had to like reserve the shuttle bus to come pick you up. It wasn't like just
I waked up.
Huh?
I waked up.
You waked up? You need a hug? Sorry. You had to actually like reserve the shuttle bus in advance, so you had to like tell them that you wanted to be picked up, and then it just the system, like the online system, was not worth it. And then I didn't want to have to wait, and it just wasn't what the Disney buses are, where you can just literally go to the bus terminal and the bus shows up and you go on it. It wasn't that easy, and so it ended up actually being easier for us to just drive, because as an annual pass holder you do get free parking. So we paid a premium to stay on property, and then we didn't get any of the advantages that I really wanted to. And honestly, the hotel was like not, I stayed at a different hotel. We actually went back 2 weeks later, and I'll chat more about that later. I stayed at a different hotel that's not on property, and it was actually closer to everything than the one that we stayed on that was on property. So, well, it's a great option, and you do get that early entry, which is 100% worth it, and it is an option. I don't know that it saves you any more money, time, headache, anything than just staying at an actual Disney property. So that's my little spiel or rant, or however you want to label it, on Disney hotels. But moving on, so we did stay at the DoubleTree on property, and it was a wonderful hotel, but we did end up driving. I don't remember what I was talking about before I started talking about the hotel, so give me a second. So we left on a Monday afternoon. My kiddos have co-op on Mondays, and so they didn't want to miss out on that, so we decided to leave after that. We left on a Monday afternoon. We drove down, we ate on the road, and then we checked into our hotel, and we went to bed early because we wanted to take full advantage of that early entry. If you do not, if if you're going to Disney and you're going to do it right, you need to take advantage of that early entry. It is early. It is really early, especially for homeschoolers who most of us don't really tend to get up quite that early, because you need to be, like, if early entry is at 8:30, you need to be arriving at the park around like 8:15 max, because they open the gates early. And you can go so far into the park, but there are people there. There are people going through security. There are people going through the actual gates where you scan your card. There are people getting there that earlier. Like, we were not the first people to arrive when we arrived. And so it is 100% worth it to get there, get through all of that stuff, and get into the park at your early entry time. The very first day, we actually were there about 10 minutes before our early entry time, and we did have to wait at a rope, but they dropped that rope. We went straight to our first ride, which was a popular ride, and we only waited 30 minutes for it. Like, it is 100% worth it. The crowds are lower. First thing in the morning, you can get in several rides at lower wait times before the crowds really start to come in around like that 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock time. So it is so worth it to do the early entry. That is the one major benefit of staying on property, even if you're not at a Disney hotel, a Disney affiliate hotel. It is, to get that early entry time is 1000% worth it. You are going to get so much done in that early time frame, with less crowds, and then when people start coming in droves, you're ready for your break, and you're going to take your break while all those lines are like crazy long, and it just is so worth it. So if you're going to go on a Disney trip, I highly suggest staying on property or at the affiliate, because that little bit of a markup is worth that early entry time. It is fantastic to be able to get in and get those things done, especially if you're looking to ride some of the really popular rides. So there is that to take advantage of. But we got there on Monday. We checked in, we went to bed so we could get up nice and early. Also, if you're going to be doing Genie Plus or reserving any virtual queues or doing any of that stuff, all of that stuff happens at 7 a.m. So you got to be up anyways. So you might as well get everybody else up and get everybody going. Tuesday we went over to Epcot and we did our day there. Epcot is my oldest daughter's absolute favorite, and so that's what I'm going to share with you next Friday is our trip at Epcot. There's that new Guardians of the Galaxy ride. We did that. I'm going to share about that. The Remy ride, when we did the rope drop, that was the ride we went to. We only waited 30 minutes, so we'll talk about all of that. And then that day we saw so many characters, just like all of the characters. So that video is coming up next week. And then Wednesday we went over to Animal Kingdom. This is my mom and my sister's favorite, but they weren't with us yet. They came later in the week, and so it was just my family, and we went and did that, and it was really fun. My kids enjoy that park. It's not their favorite, and there's not a ton to do there, which I'm going to talk about all of this on Animal Kingdom Friday, but we do still enjoy that park. It is still a great park. There's still lots to do there, lots to see. And then Wednesday was when my family arrived, the rest of my family, or I guess they arrived Tuesday night. The day we were at so Wednesday was the day we were at Animal Kingdom. That was the day they arrived. And so we ended our Animal Kingdom day a little bit early, and we went to meet them at the hotel and went to dinner and had a nice dinner, and we started the whole group on Thursday at Magic Kingdom. And so we had our big Magic Kingdom day, and it was great and wonderful, and we loved it, and we got to do all the things we wanted to do. That was the first time I'd ever tried Genie Plus, and I'm going to share that whole experience with you. So if you have specific questions about that, comment down below. And then Friday we hit Hollywood Studios, and then I actually had to be back. I had to teach a class Saturday morning, a baking class, and so we actually did the park and headed straight home when we were done with all the things we wanted to get done, and that was the end of our trip. So If you have any questions, I'd love to hear, you know, I'd love to answer them for you as best as I can. And I hope you guys enjoy this Disney Friday series. Don't forget you can follow me over on Instagram at Homeschool-ology, and I do try to share as much as I can with you guys over there about our day-to-day lives. And so you might have seen some of this Disney stuff already, but I'll be sharing our photos with you, our videos with you, our adventures with you. So I hope you will come back and chat with me for the next several Fridays. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye.